Dear learner, I welcome you all to the MOOC on renewable energy technologies and their uses. I am Dr. Sanjay Agarwal, Associate Professor in Electrical Engineering, School of Engineering and Technology, Indira Gandhi National Open University, New Delhi. Dear learner, in this session we will discuss types of the solar water heater, modes of the heat transfer, that is conduction, convection and radiation, and then we will also discuss energy losses in flat plate collector. After that we will discuss first type of solar water heater, that is collector cum storage solar water heater. So as you know, electricity is the high grade of energy and it is obtained from burning fossil fuels at the thermal power station. The overall efficiency of the generation, transmission, distribution and use is about 10% or so. Heating of water is like making use of low grade of energy. It is really a crime to use electricity for heating water when abundant solar energy is available for doing the same job by the device known as solar water heater. One of the earliest applications of solar energy is to heat water. You must have seen that in rural areas the people keep a bucket of water in sunshine for heating. It takes long time to heat water in this way because of heat losses and less absorption of the solar radiation. Flat plate solar water heaters became important long back in early 1920s in USA and Israel. In fact, about 20% of Israelis population was using solar water heaters in 1967. After the energy crisis in 1970s, many countries started developing solar water heaters. The technological development of new design has also helped in accepting solar water heater. The flat plate solar energy collectors are special kinds of heat exchanger that transform solar absorbed energy to internal energy of the water or air. That is basically you can say this water and air is a transporting medium in the flat plate collector. Broadly speaking, there are two types of the solar collector. First is flat plate type and second one is a concentrating type. A flat plate collector has the same area for intercepting and for absorbing solar radiation, whereas in concentrating collector, sun's beam radiation is focused to a smaller receiving area, thereby increasing the amount of radiation. The solar water heater may be used for domestic, commercial and industrial application. So if you are talking about the domestic application, so domestic application means if you want to take the water which have temperature nearly 50 to 55 degrees centigrade and this water are used in the flats, house and apartment etc. Then we can classify it as a commercial type. So commercial means the temperature range can be defined as 60 to 80 degrees centigrade and it is under the category of commercial type hotel, lodges, hostels and hospital, dairy etc. comes. So if we are talking about the industrial water heater, that means if we need temperature of water more than 80 degrees centigrade, then it comes under the category of industrial solar water heater. So where it is used? It is used for preheating boiled feed water, processing industries, dairy and dyeing etc. Now we will discuss classification of the solar water heater. Solar water heater are classified in several ways. One of the widely used method is to divide them into two systems. One is active system and another one is passive system. Now we will discuss what is active system. So as name is indicating active, that means active solar system rely upon moving mechanical parts in order to transport heat. The collector is usually an all copper tube and fin observer enclosed with an insulated aluminum frame or box covered with a glazing. The water is circulated through the solar panels. Now we will discuss what is a passive system. The passive system, on the other hand, use the sun's energy to transport heat. Passive system can be divided into two types. One is thermosiphon and collector storage. Passive solar systems are popular because of their inherent simplicity and reliability. The storage tank is located on the roof, and heating effect of the sun causes warm water to circulate within it. Solar water heaters are classified based on their design, location and heat transfer mechanism. So it can be classified as, first is type of collector, and under the type of collector means flat plate type collector and evacuated tube collector. Second one is a location of the collector. Third is location of the storage tank. Fourth one is with and without pump. And fifth one is method of heat transfer. A solar water heater basically consists of the following. One is collector to collect the solar energy, and second one is an insulated tank to store the hot water. The solar collector could be flat plate collector or evacuated tube collector. Now we will discuss solar water heater based on these collectors type. So for application where temperature requirement are below 85 degrees centigrade, following three types of the solar water heater may be used. One is collector cum storage solar water heater. Second, natural circulation type solar water heater. Third, forced circulation type solar water heater. Now we will discuss efficient use of solar energy. The key to efficient use of solar energy lies in the efficient modes of heat transfer in solar energy collector. There are three possible modes of the heat transfer. First is thermal conduction, second one is thermal convection, and third one is radiation. So you can say the mode of heat transfer is what? Conduction, convection and radiation. Now one by one we will discuss what is a conduction, convection and radiation. So first of all we will discuss conduction. In case of conduction, transfer of heat from one particles of the adjacent particle is known as conduction of heat. In solid, heat is transferred by the process of conduction. In this process, the transfer of heat takes place through adjacent molecules. The formula for the conduction, we can say that Q is equal to K capital A multiplied by T hot minus T cold divided by D, where this Q is what? Q is a heat transfer and K is a heat transfer coefficient, A is the area, T hot is a temperature of the hot surface and T cold is a temperature of the cold surface and D is the thickness. So now we will discuss what are the example of the conduction. So we can take two examples. One example is ironing of the clothes is an example of conduction where the heat is conducted from the iron to the clothes. Second example, when one end of an iron rod is put over flame, then part which is nearer to the flame is heated first and heat is gradually transferred to the other end of the rod. This happens because particles of the iron rod which are nearer to the flame receive the heat and transfer this to the adjacent particles. Subsequently, the adjacent particles transfer the heat to the next adjacent particles. This process continues and heat reaches to the other end of the rod. Thus, heat transfer in solid takes place through the conduction. In case of thermal conduction, heat energy flows from high temperature to low temperature in a material. Wide variation in ability to conduct heat energy among different material is due to the density of free electrons in the material. Metals are required for efficient heat transfer because of their high thermal conductivity. Now we will discuss second mode of heat transfer, that is called convection. The transfer of heat because of movement of the molecules of the medium via mass transfer is called convection or convection of heat. Formula for convection can be defined as Q is equal to S suffix C multiplied by area multiplied by difference of the temperature, that is Ts minus Tf, where this Sc is a heat transfer coefficient and A is the area, and this Ts and Tf, you can say Ts is a temperature at the solid and Tf is a temperature at the fluid. So here heat is transferred from solid to fluid. When water is heated in a container, the particles of the water which are nearer source of heat get heated first. Because of heating, they become light and rise in water. The gap which is created because of rise of hot particles is filled by cold particles of water from the surrounding area. The cyclical movement in fluids because of heating is called convection current. Now if you are talking about convection in air, how the convection process occurs in air. Air gets heated because of convection, same as water gets heated. Air near the source of heat gets heated and rises above. This leaves a gap which is filled by the colder air from the surrounding. The convection current thus starts in air, which results in heating up of air. The liquid and gases transfer heat by convection. Fireplaces produce natural convection, warm air rises and are replaced by the cold air. Most space heating systems operate by a convective heat transfer. Now we will discuss the third mode of heat transfer, that is called radiation. Thermal radiation is generated by the emission of the electromagnetic waves. These waves carry away the energy from the emitting body. Radiation takes place through a vacuum or transparent medium, which can be either solid or liquid. All materials absorb sunlight and heats up and then radiates that as long wavelength infrared radiation. Thermal radiation is the result of random motion of the molecules in the matter. Movement of charged electrons and protons is responsible for the emission of electromagnetic radiation. Thermal radiation can be calculated by the Stephan-Boltzmann law. By this formula you can see here, that is P is equal to rho sigma A Tr minus Tc to the power 4. Now if we are talking about the example for the radiation, so microwave radiation emitted in oven is an example of the radiation. Ultraviolet rays coming from the sun is also an example of the radiation. Release of alpha particles during the decaying of uranium-238 into thorium-234 is also an example of radiation. Sandstone dwellings and walls absorb much sunlight during the day and then radiate that as heat at night. Basically, efficiency depends upon specific heat of material and its thermal conductivity. If we are talking about the specific heat measure of how much energy a substance can store. If we are talking about the thermal conductivity is a measure of efficiency of heat transfer. Here you can see in the table the specific heat and thermal conductivity of the some material has been given in the table. So if you are see the different material has been given here: water, iron, glass, concrete and aluminum. If we are talking about specific heat of water, so it is 4.19 kilojoule per kilogram degree centigrade, and thermal conductivity of water is 0.596 watt per meter degree centigrade. Specific heat and thermal conductivity of iron is 0.502 kilojoule per kilogram degree centigrade and 62.764 watt per meter degree centigrade respectively. If we talk about the specific heat of the glass, so specific heat of glass is 0.67 kilojoule per kilogram degree centigrade, and thermal conductivity of glass is 1.05 watt per meter degree centigrade. If we are talking about concrete, the specific heat of concrete is 1.13 kilojoule per kilogram degree centigrade, and thermal conductivity of concrete is 1.73 watt per meter degree centigrade. If we are talking about the next material, that is aluminum, so specific heat of aluminum is 0.921 kilojoule per kilogram degree centigrade, and thermal conductivity of aluminum is 211 watt per meter degree centigrade. So if you are comparing specific heat of all the material, that is water, iron, glass, concrete and aluminum, so here you can see the highest specific heat of water, that is 4.19 kilojoule per kilogram degree centigrade. If you are comparing thermal conductivity of the all material, that is water, iron, glass, concrete and aluminum, so here you can see that aluminum has highest thermal conductivity, that is 211 watt per meter degree centigrade. So just this is a from this table you can have some idea about the specific heat and thermal conductivity of the different material. Now we will discuss energy losses in a flat plate collector. When solar radiation falls on the surface of the solar collector, it is not possible for all solar photons to penetrate back collector surface. Once the collector becomes hotter than the environment, heat loss by conduction, convection and radiation start. The transmission and reflectance depends upon incidence angle also. The efficiency start decreasing if the collector becomes too hot, as the thermal radiation which goes up as temperature to the fourth power dramatically increases. The overall effect is that the collector system has an efficiency which decreases with higher temperature. The following points guide the number of glazing to be used. First point is, single glass cover allows most sunlight but also most re-radiated infrared radiation. The single glass cover are the best suited at low temperature differences. More than one glass cover admits fewer photons but inhibits radiative losses. The collector with more than one glass cover are best suited at high temperature differences. The orientation of collector with respect to sun is crucial part of overall efficiency. Now we will discuss collector cum storage solar water heater. The collector cum storage type of solar water heater were designed, studied and developed and found very attractive for domestic applications. This type of solar water heater does not have separate tank for hot water storage but serves the purpose for both collection and storage. The built-in storage and shallow pond water heater are widely used solar water heater of collector cum storage type. Now we will discuss built-in storage solar water heater. The schematic diagram of built-in solar water heater is given in the diagram. Here you can see. Such type of collector are good in efficiency, easy to install and low in cost. So here you can see from the right side, here you can see the inlet where water is going, and toward the left side you can see from where you can collect the hot water, and top one is a basically glass cover where solar radiation comes and it penetrates through to the glass cover and goes inside of the tank. And between here, outside here, you can also see the insulation also. It mainly consists of the following component. First is a rectangular box covered by the glass wool insulation around the bottom and side walls. Second one is one or two glass cover at the top. Basically, it is also called glazing. The system works on the greenhouse principle. When solar radiation is passed through the transparent cover or covers and impinges on the blackened absorber plate of high absorbability, it gets absorbed by the absorber. The glass covers allow the short wave solar radiation to enter. The thermal radiation, basically you can say it is a long wave radiation, are not allowed to escape by the glazing. So the solar energy which enters inside is trapped and absorbed by the water. The underside of the absorber plate and the side casing are well insulated to reduce conduction losses. In solar water heater, the water tubes are welded to the absorber plate, or they can be integral part of the plate. The water tubes are connected at both ends by the large header. Now we will discuss what is the function of the transparent cover. In solar energy collector, the transparent cover is used for the following purpose. First one is to reduce convection losses from the absorber plate through the stagnant air layer between the absorber plate and the glass. Second purpose is to reduce radiation losses from the collector, because the spectral transmittivity of glass is such that it is transparent to short wave radiation but nearly opaque to long wave thermal radiation emitted by the interior of the collector. Next function of this glass cover is to reduce radiation convection losses when two or more transparent cover are used. Now we will discuss the collector tilt. We will now discuss the orientation of solar collector for receiving maximum solar radiation throughout the year. Flat plate collector are usually permanently fixed in position and require no tracking of the sun. The solar collector should be oriented directly towards the equator, facing south in the northern hemisphere and facing north in the southern hemisphere. The optimum tilt angle of solar collector is equal to the latitude. For winter season, the tilt angle should be approximately 10 to 15 more than the latitude. For summer season, tilt angle should be approximately 10 to 15 degree less than the latitude. Flat plate collector are useful in supplying thermal energy at moderate temperature up to the normal boiling point of water, that is 100 degrees centigrade. The major application of flat plate collector are in domestic hot water and space heating, and to a lesser degree in industrial process. They can be employed to supply hot water in absorption refrigeration system for space cooling. Dear learner, so in today's session we discuss different type of solar water heater, different modes of the heat transfer, that is conduction, convection and radiation. Then we have also discussed energy losses in the flat plate collector, and then we discuss collector cum storage solar water heater. So in the next session we would discuss solar water heater based on the flat plate collector. Under this flat plate collector, we will discuss natural circulation type solar water heater and forced circulation type of solar water heater. Then we will also discuss thermal performance of the solar water heater. Thank you very much.